Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sahir Imam Khan and I welcome all of you on my YouTube channel Engineer Khan Saab, and today's video is really special. In this video we are going to talk about the students, especially from India and Pakistan, who are planning to move abroad, especially in France. Okay, since I'm living in France from last 2 years, so I have a lot of data, the real data, apart from the anticipation which we have when we are in our home countries. So in this video clearly I will put some pros and cons of coming to France as a student, and about every other European countries the pros and cons will be quite similar, so I will not comment on everyone. I am living in France, so I will specifically talk about France. Coming to the introduction of this video, first of all I want to clarify that why I am making this video. Since all of you know that from last 2 years I am posting some travel vlogs, and in these vlogs lot of times I have said that I am studying in France. So a lot of the students from India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, they have been approaching me and they are asking me about the visa process, Campus France process, and the part-time jobs in France, and a lot of things. Okay, so I decided finally to record one complete video with a complete narrative in which I will discuss about every aspect when you are coming to France, what you are going to do here and how your life is going to be here. And right now I am sitting in a classroom of my university, so from this you can guess easily that the classrooms are well maintained. You have computers for everything and the classrooms are clean and professors are really good. Coming to the first part of our video, now let's discuss about the pros and cons of coming to France as a student. The first benefit of coming to France for your postgraduate or for your bachelor's is quality education. France offers globally recognized degrees, especially in the field of engineering, architecture, chemistry, and computer science. The education system emphasizes on practical learning rather than having a lot of theoretical knowledge, and you have compulsory internships in masters. You cannot have a master degree without internship in France, so this really provides you some good experience and make you more compatible and competent in your domain. In countries like India and Pakistan, we don't have such things. We don't have internships and we don't have a lot of practical knowledge. We are so good in memorizing some theories and some formulas and solving things on paper, but in real life things doesn't work on paper. We have to know the practical application of what we are learning. So this kind of things you will experience in a very different way in France if you will come to France. Now the second pro or the second advantage is affordable tuition fees. Unlike the other expenses of Europe, you will not end up by paying some millions of euros in your masters or bachelors. The tuition fees are really minimal and you can easily afford this, unless and until you will take admission in some private universities or some écoles, which are also the schools. These are the private organizations which will charge you a couple of thousands of euros, and if in INR I will say it will go around 12 to 13 lakhs. So it's really expensive, but if you're not going there, if you are studying in a public university, the fees is really less. I mean, you will just pay 250, 300 euros, which is 25 to 30,000 INR for 1 year, which is really less. I don't think you can find a university in India which operates on such a fees. So it's a very big advantage. This thing is specifically about Europe. In America, in Canada, in Australia, the tuition fees is really high. So now coming to the third point of our advantages, which is opportunities of networking. While living here in France, you can have multiple programs, exchange programs. For example, I had a friend, she is a student from a school in Germany and now she's doing her last semester here in France, and these kind of things you can find easily. And since France is in the Schengen area, so from France if you will go to Germany, Austria, Switzerland, you don't have to be in the queue for a visa, which is really complicated in case of Europe, as we all know. Okay, so it's really a good thing that here you come across some fantastic professors who have already worked in the biggest company in your domain, so it will really help you. The networking is really important. In our countries the biggest problem is we have no idea of networking. Most of you guys don't know even how to create a profile on LinkedIn. Most of you guys don't even know how to create a proper CV, resume, and this is where our education system lags behind. They just provide us the theoretical aspect, but they completely forget and they completely fail in teaching us the practical aspect. Okay, So networking is really important. See, there are a lot of advantages. This list is based on my experiences and I have shortlisted. If I will start telling about every small things, then this video will be 10 hours long. So I have cut down some important parts, okay? So now the last and one of the biggest advantage of coming to France for studies is exposure to international culture. Here in France, when you will live for 2 years, you will meet with hundreds of people from different nationalities and you will learn a lot of things. You will learn their culture, their food and their perception, and there is a lot of things to learn. Now I will come directly towards the disadvantages, and this video is especially for the students of India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, okay? So this subcontinental students, so you guys can relate more with me. Okay, so the very first problem which you will face right from the time you will land in France is the language barrier. Luckily or unluckily, we were colonized by Britishers, not by French. So unfortunately, in our countries, we are habituated to speak English apart from our mother tongue. So when we come to France and we see the airport and the people speaking French with zero English, then we are really confused and you feel like you really messed with yourself. But it's not the case. Gradually you can learn the language, but I will definitely say this, that for this 2 years of your masters, you will struggle with the language everywhere, in the shops, in the restaurants, in the cafe, for your insurance, and for everything. Every website you will find in French. And luckily, if you have your course in French, if you already know French before coming here, then you are really lucky and then you should pursue. So this point is not for you if you already speak French. For me, I was not speaking French at all before coming here, so this was a big problem. Second disadvantage is the cost of living is so high. France is really expensive. It's so expensive, and especially talking about the capital city of France, which is Paris, it is way more expensive than your imagination. I mean, just for the rent you will pay around 700 to 800 euros. It is 70,000 to 80,000 INR in a month, which is too much, which is double the salary of a middle class family in our country, okay? So you have to keep this in mind. Okay, one more point I want to add here. Due to the language barrier, it is really hard for the students coming from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh to find a work here, a part-time work. So if you are living here as a student and you're not finding a part-time work, so you can imagine how big it is making the burden on your family. So this is a big problem. And if you can find a part-time work in which they don't require the language proficiency, then you are really lucky. Then I think you can pay your rent as well. And the fourth point is this country has very limited job opportunities for a non-French speaker. So if you don't speak French, the opportunities of job is really less. I'm not saying that you will definitely not find a job. You can find, but it's really rare. And you can find the job in a technical domain, for example as an engineer or as an accountant, but you can never find a job in which you have to deal with the public. For example, in hotel management, you can never find a job in France if you don't speak French really fluent. And the final and the last point which I will say, because I have observed this a lot, that is depression. You will be so alone here in France. And it's good to have friends, but the friendship which you will have here in France is so different from the friendship which we have back in our countries. People here are really professional. With your friends, you will feel some professionalism. So it's really disturbing. And I personally don't find it good. So you will be alone here. And this is for so sure. You will miss your family. These things will be there. Okay, so let me conclude the video and let's cut the story short. So who should apply for this? Who should apply for the studies in France? Who should come? First of all, the very first thing is, if you are really sure that you want to study this specifically course from this specific university, then you should come to France. Don't use the hit and trial method for your life, and especially don't use hit and trial method to come to France. Otherwise you will regret a lot. So if you're really sure about your course, about your domain, about the university, then you are welcome here. Secondly, if you are financially stable, then you should think about this. Otherwise it's hard. If you're not financially privileged, if you don't have scholarship, don't do a mistake that you will take a big loan from an Indian bank and you will come here. Recently, I think day before yesterday, one of my friend, he was asking me about the loan. He was planning to take a loan of 25 lakhs to go to London. I told him that if you will take the loan of 25 lakhs, at least 5 lakhs you will pay as an interest. So in 10 years, if you will return the loan, then how much you have to pay? Every month you will pay nearly 25 to 30,000, and it will take you 8 to 10 years to pay back that loan. So it's like half of your salary or quarter of your salary you will just waste on your loans. So it's better to study in India if you cannot afford these things. It's just my suggestion, and in the last it's up to you how you perceive it. And the third thing is, if you're coming here, you really have to be strong. You can't have homesickness all the time, because it is not the different city of your country that you can just book a bus and you can go back to your country. Especially about Indians and Pakistanis, the flight costs around 40 Indian rupees, 40 KINR just to go to India in off season. In on season it is 60, 70. So to go to India and to come back, it will cost you more than 1 lakh. Most of the middle class family cannot afford this, so you really have to be sure about this. Okay, with this, let's come to the end of the video, and I have shared the most crucial and critical point according to me, and these things are based on my experiences, and you might have a different opinion and someone else might have his own opinion, so I'm not commenting on that. See you again in a new video. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye bye and Khuda Hafiz.